Good morning, everybody. I'm welcoming you on behalf of the South African National Editors Forum, and we want to introduce you today to a range of resources that we're making available to journalists to cover local elections better, to cover municipal finances better, to make sure that we cover citizens and citizens' rights and citizens' experience of municipal services. So those are the kinds of stories that we are interested in. I think you can see the screen now of the SANEF website. So I just want to give you an idea of the materials available and what we're going to do today. So if you go to the SANEF website, there's two ways to get to the SANEF election portal. Firstly, I should show you that if you go to programs and you hover over elections, that you can get to our full set of resources for the 2019 elections, many of that still useful, as well as our new portal, which is a much more extensive offering of resources for journalists to cover elections. Another way to get to the portals is to scroll a little bit down and you can see here a link, visit the SANEF election portal 2021. Just to show you that what I say is true. So this is an elections page that we had for 2019. So if there's any reason that you need to go back to any previous material, it's still there, the handbook for the national and provincial elections. And if you say 1 August here, it's 1 August 2019, it's not this year. Materials that we updated at the time, including our full handbook for the 2019 elections. Now, based on that we've done with the last election, SANEF decided to improve on our offering from the previous election, and we launched a local elections training and reporting portal for journalists. Lots and lots of useful material. You can use the links that I showed you earlier, or you can go directly to elections.sanef.org.za. I repeat, elections.sanef.org.za. So the kind of materials that you'll find on here, apart from a countdown to if the elections happen on 27 October, we don't know yet. We hope we will know soon. But all kinds of resources. So many organizations, usually assisting media, worked with SANEF to try and make sure that we pull together here. For instance, Media Monitoring Africa with a disinformation reporting portal who'll be working closely with our IEC. Some projects like the Track My Mayor, that one can use for story ideas, where people say, report things that were promised but not been done. We recently had a party funding training with the IEC. Remember, something for the news diaries. End of this month, we're expecting the IEC's first party funding data to come out. So we'll have a new data set, never accessible before, and there's some training resources and how that will work that you can find there, for instance. So many different kinds of useful material that can help journalists and newsrooms, citizens, journalists and community journalists to actually improve on their coverage. We also have this full set of handbooks for the elections, updated from the previous elections, around which we build our training sessions. Just before I talk a little bit more about the training sessions, just want to show you the some of the sub-menus. So on election resources, we have resources on, well, reporting resources I showed you, on disinformation, party funding, safety of journalists, regulatory frameworks, pocket reporter, that we'll deal with later on, and then the election dashboard, which will be the focus of today. But before I get there, let's just talk a little bit about the training. So we launched a series of election training webinars. Today's session is number 2, and you'll see a list here. Please also register for the session on 25 August, where you can find the registration right here in the story. That will be a session on municipal finances, how to slice, dice, understand, get stories out of municipal finances. And then we have in December, we need to confirm the date still, role of media during elections, disinformation, safety of journalists. And then the last one in this list is again a data journalism session, just like today's and next week's, telling election stories with data. By that time, we would have added lots of election data sets made available by the IEC to our dashboard. So there will be new data sets. And that's why we have another session then. By the way, the first session that I referred to on 17 August, there's a link here. If you go there, you go to this page and you can actually watch segments from the training that we offered on Tuesday this week, from how the elections work to some of the senior editors in the industry who shared their tips and tricks on how to do better election coverage, so you can go and re-watch that. Now, one of the big additions to our offering this year is an election dashboard, which is really the focus of what we're doing today. And I'm not going to go into that, my colleagues will do it. But what we're really trying to do with the election dashboard is to give journalists a factual basis, data that they can use to do better stories on how people live in municipalities and how municipal councils govern municipalities. Because in the end, I referred to this in the previous seminar, you have the 4 P's of election coverage. The people always first, right? Then you have the places where they live, which is what we're focusing on today, is information about the places where they live so that you can do that kind of story. The 3rd P is the parties. The 4th P is the process, the electoral process. Now today is firmly on the places that people live and the kind of information that you can get out of that. Now, I want to say something about our partners in this, and this is OpenUp, and why we think it was a really good fit between SANEF and OpenUp to do this. You say, on their about page, they say they develop and support projects that empower citizens. And I mean, that's really what we as a media, what we also do. You also see that they've been working with many news organizations before, so they understand journalism. And another plus is they say they ground it in the Constitution, and they work with open source. And open data is one of the key projects that SANEF is trying to advance. So it was really a good fit to get them on board, and I want to thank the OpenUp team for the effort that they made so far and the offering that they provide to the journalism community today in the course. So one of the other interesting tools that we will also introduce today is Pocket Reporter, a news editor in your pocket, literally a checklist on how to do stories. And with that, we will now focus on the election dashboard, and I'll hand over to my colleagues to proceed on that. Thank you very much.